Welcome to the second part of discussing the SBL pre-seen for the 2025 March examination. So as you are well aware from the previous video, we had an initial read of the paper and we basically noted down the information given in the pre-seen so that it achieves two purposes. Number one, we'll be thorough with the important points you noted down. Number two, this will help you create a proper mind map. So we had worked on this document from scratch in our previous video where we looked at many information about the industry we are in, the charity. And we also discussed that we are into a specific type of charity which is into protecting heritages, and then there are different types of charities. So initially, from understanding what is a charity, what does charity entail, we looked at our particular segment. Beyond that, we looked at how charities work, the industry information, and finally we looked at the company information relating to HP, which is our company. We looked at our mission, vision, main information given on its governance protocols, code of conduct, how it selects heritage sites to protect, how it obtains those sites, its operational activities, stakeholder related information, systems, risks, as well as the website extracts that is given in your pre-seen. So we had done all of this in our prior video, which was basically the part 1. Right. Next, we'll be looking at second section of our analysis, which is about doing a SWOT. Now, this SWOT is based on your document. In the first document, we noted down all relevant information given in the pre-seen. Keep in mind, the examiner does not want you to bring information not presented by the examiner. Both in the pre-seen and even the final exam, you have to refer only to the given information, the pre-seen and the exhibits. Do not bring personal information outside the given case, the given documents. Yes, sometimes you can utilize your personal information to provide recommendations if the examiner asks for recommendations. Okay. However, do not bring personal information to analyze. That will be a big problem. So based on our first document where we extracted the important information given, now those information are classified into internal and external strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Now, these are information that will be very critical for examinations. Now, there is no new information here. Keep in mind, let's go through the SWOT and see, are we aware of this information? Obviously, should be aware because this is given in the case. These were noted down in our first video, in the document, in our mind map. So those information are now segregated into internal strengths and weaknesses and external opportunities and threats. Let's look at each of these. Shall we start with strengths? Right. Now, if you look at the strengths of our organization, HP, one of the strengths is that we are one of the largest charity in Eardisia. So you should keep in mind, you should be able to track what information is all about. We discussed that there are two large charities. One is us. When it comes to heritage protection, there are two large charities. One is us, HP, where we will be preserving sites over 300 years. The other is LTP, that preserves sites below 300 years. So at the end of the day, we are one of the largest heritage charities in the country. We are a well-established organization with a history of 120 years ago. Now, it's not a new organization. It's a well-established, well-known, old organization. And we are also having a large scope of operations, having 350 sites, all of them over 300 years old. And we have had strong governance, including having audit committees, nomination committees, and remuneration committees, which will ensure transparency and better internal controls. And also keep in mind, this is a requirement. This is mandated for large charities. So we and any other large charities, if all of us are mandated to have these three committees. However, this is also strength. We have invested in improving visitor experiences. What have we done to improve visitor experiences? We have arranged for activities like tour guides, providing site information, exhibitions, activities for simulation as well as special events. Finally, shops and even catering facilities, which will provide the visitor a better experience. Now, to be honest, these is a strength we do not know, because why what are strengths? Strengths are things that we do better than competitors. Now they have not given us competitor information, they have not given us competitor activities. The only information given is when it comes to our segment, when it comes to protecting heritages over 300 years old, we are the largest. Other direct competitors, no information. When it comes to LTP, which preserves heritages below 300 years, still we do not know what activities they are doing. However, these are some positive activities that we have been doing that have given the visitor better experience. So for now, we have to take it as a strength. In the final examination, if they have given competitor activities and if the competitors are doing activities for visitors better than us, now these can't be strengths. Right? Keep that in mind. Employees who are paid less. Okay, employees are paid less. That's not nice. But why have it put it as a strength? So employees are typically paid less than similar commercial entities. But these employees who are paid less are still willing to work for HP because they support HP's mission. So these employees work for the company, not only for the pay, it's beyond the pay. Fully furnished website. The website of HP is quite fully furnished. It provides information about the organization, information about its sites, information on maps, information on news, information on their events and activities conducted. And members can join through the website. Donations can be made through the website. So it's quite comprehensive. Strong membership base. Again, they are mentioned that we have over 5 million members, and we discussed when it comes to HP, we only have annual membership. There is no life membership. So these 5 million members will be providing us revenue recurring annually because we only have annual membership. However, is 5 million good or bad? We don't have enough data. However, I have observed we can have a estimation, because here in this graph in the pre-scene they have given us latest number of members are around 5.15 million, and 3 years ago it was around 4.8 million. Yes, number of members have grown. So if we exclude competitor data, competitor charities data, and we only include our personal data, yes, we have been doing better than the previous year. Income has been grown approximately. Why have I mentioned approximately? Because I have basically observed the graphs that they have given. They have given us income, as you can see from old to new, income has been growing. Since we do not know the exact value, we can find an approximate value. The purpose is for you to have a picture of how well the company is doing financially. Even though charities are non-profit organizations, we need money to sustain. So yes, having an eye on financials is important to ensure that we earn sufficient for our expenses. So income grown from it's approximated at 735 million and 800 million. So there's an average annual growth of 2.9%. Again, is it enough? We do not know, but we have been doing better than the previous years. That is a fact. And education initiatives were taken. HP has formal links with schools and universities, and it has strengthened its societal impact. HP has taken many sustainability efforts, including they mentioned in their mission, they mentioned in their values, in their strategies, that they are committed to climate change initiatives. They are committed to having greener energy, minimizing waste, and also tracking sustainability KPIs. Now there's a problem here. What's the problem? They had mentioned that they are aiming to do this, but we do not have detail on have they done this. We do not have detail on have they, how, to what extent have they done this. Well, they're unable to do this. So those details are not given, but the only thing we know is HP has the intention, and they have explicitly conveyed the intention towards sustainability. Finally, HP has diverse funding sources. They do not rely on only on one source of income. They have diverse funding. As a charity, they get annual membership income, income from donations, admissions, commercial activities. We also discussed that charities in general have commercial activities as one of their sources of income, where they own the subsidiary 100%, a fully owned subsidiary, because they will be tax exempted if it is a fully owned subsidiary. So that's something common. HP also does it. And because of this, they are not completely dependent on a singles. So these are the major positives of HP. Now, when you encounter a task in the examination, for example, identifying, okay, how to address a threat, how to address a risk, see, are these strengths of any use? If they are of any use, please use them. I hope you had done the TOES matrix. We see how strengths can be used to exploit opportunities, address threats, and same thing with weaknesses and opportunities, and weaknesses and threats. So this is it. Keep in mind, again, in the exam, the task is related to the exhibit given in the exam, the post scene. However, this information in the pre-scene will provide you a background information. These are also usable, and any relevant information is very helpful, because as a senior manager, you should understand the overall organization before making decisions, because your decisions are strategic in nature. Weaknesses. One thing is, we discussed that we'll discuss in threats. There's the country is facing a recession, that's a threat. However, along with that comes a weakness, that is competitors are competing for donations. So HP also is competing for donations with other charities, including non-heritage charities. We discussed charities are a large industry, and protecting heritages are just one segment. So there are other charities on different areas of social interest. These charities, along with us, are competing for donations. Site opening times are not consistent. So this is one of the seen critical weaknesses. Our site opening times are not consistent, because we are predominantly depending on staffing levels, and most of our staffing comes from volunteers. This can lead to visitor dissatisfaction, because why? The times of operations are inconsistent. It's not guaranteed. We have a risk register, and the risk register, we identified several internal weaknesses. One is insufficient financial resources. Now they have identified, even though detail is not provided as to what extent we are suffering from liquidity issues, they have given us, yes, we are having insufficient financial resources. We are having a risk of losing employees and volunteers, and HP is heavily reliant on volunteers. Volunteers are unpaid, so we get labor effort for free. So we rely on massive amount of volunteers. At present, there are around 20,000 volunteers at HP. They play a major role, but their attendance is irregular and even uncertain. That's a major risk. That's also one of the reasons why our opening times are not consistent. Loss of specialists may affect site maintenance and historic objects. So there will be problems in preservation. Poor supplier and contractor performance is also an identified risk. We do not know to what extent it is materialized, to what extent has it impacted HP. However, the only thing we know is purchasing has been centralized, and unfortunately, suppliers and contractors have shown inadequate performance, poor performance. This is a risk that must be addressed. Possible risk to health and safety, again, to what extent is the damages there is not given. However, that is a risk. And if you look in reality, if you look at sites, possible risk to health and safety is basically more or less on our tourists, because tourists visit the sites, and these are, and we HP are also preserving sites that are well damaged, that needs immediate attention. So there can be possible risk to life, like slippery flows or breakdowns in the structures that can have a possible risk to visitors life. So that is a possible, estimation from my end, but that's what I also see. Again, we will have to rely on more details. If more details are not given in the exam, this is a very realistic estimation based on the industry of heritage charities. Next is the risk register of cyber risks. Again, cyber risk details are not given. However, there is a significant risk if cyber risk involves theft and manipulation of data. This could lead to legal and reputational issues. When it comes to operating expenses, just like growth in income, they have given us growth in expenses over the years. And based on approximated data, the growth is around 4.1% per year. Now, income has grown by around 2.9% per year. Expenses have grown 4.1% per year. So, proportionate growth of income is less than the proportionate growth of expenses. That can affect our net margin. That is also problematic. Even though, as I said, we are not profit oriented, we need money to run the business, to run the charity, to preserve charities. And they have also mentioned that we have a risk of insufficient financial resources at this point of time. Ensuring that we are liquid is more critical. Potential governance concerns. For example, the chair of trustees is not elected by members, which may raise transparency concerns. Now, these are possible strengths and weaknesses. Now, we have to see, are these weaknesses, can these weaknesses be used in the task given by the exam? Because these are internal issues that needs to be addressed. Again, many of these internal weaknesses, especially those in the risk register, is not given in detailed information. If the examiner addresses those, he will give you additional information in the exhibit. Even if the information is not given in the exhibit, since it is given as part of the risk register, it's given in the pre-scene, you can refer to them in the final answer. Now let's look at opportunity. So one opportunity is that we have been able to grow educational engagement, as HP has a lot of ties with schools and universities with established formal links. This is also in line with an objective of HP to ensure that population are educated on heritages, and also put their effort on preservation. So HP was able to link with schools and universities, which basically are the future of the country. Media can bring good publicity. They have mentioned that media can bring both good and bad publicity. So if they bring good publicity, that is an opportunity HP can think of exploiting, because having good publicity can obtain attention from the public. This can drive membership. This can drive number of visitors as well. Sustainability focused initiatives. HP's commitment to climate action can attract eco-conscious donors, visitors, and funding. Improving digital engagement. The website can be further enhanced. For example, an opportunity is there. We discussed that our website is quite comprehensive. We can also create opportunities by further enhancing with content like virtual tours, online events, and even interactive contents. Threats. Next, they had mentioned when excessive cost of the charity can lead to public scrutiny. That can lead to negative publicity. That's a threat. Again, media can bring bad publicity that can affect the reputation. Sites are deteriorating. Okay, so this is one of the major threats. The sites of the organization are deteriorating due to many reasons. Some are controllable, some are uncontrollable. Some unavoidable factors include passage of time, websites deteriorate due to the natural passage of time, due to humidity levels, due to violent weather, very difficult to address them. And there are areas where HP can address to a certain extent, including addressing deterioration due to pollution, wear and tear from visitor visits. We can't avoid visitor visits because having visitors visit the site is one of the objectives of HP. However, we can put up internal controls measures to address the wear and tear from visits to a certain extent. Economic recession leading to decline in donations is another macro environmental threat. Website exposure may cause reduction in physical visits. Even though our website is comprehensive, it has been observed that when people get exposed to comprehensive websites, some of them might neglect having physical visits. That's a threat. Health and safety incidents, accidents at sites could lead to legal liabilities and reputational damage, just like which we discussed. It's an internal risk as well as an external threat. And cybersecurity risks. A data breach could result in legal action, financial losses, and even a loss of public trust. So these are how I had segregated the insights we obtain to a SWOT. You can do a TOWS matrix if needed to identify how strengths can be used to exploit opportunities, address threats, and also identify which weakness needs to be addressed to avoid missing threats, so to avoid missing opportunities, and the risks that can multiply threats. Those risks also needs to be properly addressed, or else at least we need to be aware of such possibilities, so we can have a plan in advance. So this is the SWOT. So once you do this, you will have a clear picture of the important insights given in the examination. Now, to end today's part on this further analysis, I had also extracted certain insights for your consideration. So let's take a look at this. Number one, the first concern is, yes, trustees are unpaid. That's something normal. However, these unpaid trustees oversee major activities, including compliance, including internal controls and risk. Are they doing a good job? No, that's a risk. They are unpaid, they are not employees, they don't have contractual obligations. Similarly, volunteers are also unpaid and they are not obligated contractually. They have 20,000 volunteers, they are risky. They can leave anytime, and they are inconsistent in their presence, which has currently affected the opening hours. Now, these are two parties that you have to have your concern on. For trustees who are unpaid, yes, they work for the organization full time. However, we are giving them a major task. Number three, code of conduct principles. They had given this explicitly. HP's code of conduct principles relate to ensuring professional behavior, commitment, adhering to board decisions. Now we'll have to ensure that the board takes right decisions, because their principle is to adhere to whatever the board decisions are. Confidentiality good, and also addressing conflicts of interest and bribery. So it should be addressing conflicts of interest and addressing bribery. Okay. Only annual membership. Okay, the HP only has annual membership. There is no life membership, and they have not given us the impact of not having life membership. We do not know. On a personal basis, we feel it's good. Why? If you pay life membership, okay, that's a one-off income. You will not have future recurring income from the particular member. But annual membership, members keep on paying us annually. But has this led to members not getting membership in our organization? We do not know. So competitors in general, charities do provide life membership as well. We do not know the impact of not having life membership. Members 5 million, we had discussed that there has been a membership growth through the chart, but we had to always compare with the competitor data to conclude how much have our members grown and how much have our competitors members grown, because revenue from membership is the highest contributor to income. There are 20,000 volunteers. We have to compare with prior years to conclude, has it grown, has it declined, what happened. Largest operating cost is borne on site operations. So these information is given. If you look at split of income, membership has the highest income. Look at operating expenses, there are three major categories. Again, the highest is on site operations. So largest operating cost is borne on site operations. Check for possibility on reducing this cost and evaluate on being eco-friendly and recycling. Now, being eco-friendly, being and recycling the resources is part of the objectives of HP, but they have not given are they actually doing it or not. So we have to see when it comes to the highest cost, which is on site operations, do we have room to reduce in them? This might be given in the exhibit. They might give the breakdowns of the cost. They might give you the unnecessary costs incurred on this particular category. See, can we reduce them? And also see when it comes to spending money, are these in line with ensuring the business is eco-friendly and do they recycle materials? The mission of HP is on permanent protection of heritage. See, I had extracted the mission here. HP's mission is that it permanently protects and preserves sites entrusted to it and promotes interest in and access to them. So permanently preserving is a mission. That's the ultimate objective, ultimate target of HP. But we also discussed rationally sites deteriorate due to many unavoidable factors like natural site deterioration due to the passage of time. These are conflicting. Mission wants the permanent preservation, but sites preservation is declined. This is a factor that you need to be considered. Because see, if it goes on like this, most of our sites preservation will not be in line with the company's mission. Okay, I have to keep that in mind. Next, there are information gaps. I told you a lot of information gaps. Detailed information is not given. For example, stakeholders' attitudes, experience, expectations are not given. For example, we discuss about visitors, but we don't have insights on are visitors happy with the visits, their experience, their expectations, their attitudes, not given. Members, trustees, government attitude, experience, expectation, not yet provided. Information on specific KPIs should be provided in detail. And we also have to know, have we achieved the KPIs to identify the effectiveness of HP's operations? Number of visitors and has it increased or not over the years? Again, detailed information is required for us to comment on comment on HP's yearly or periodical operation. Okay, some areas where we need very urgent solutions, includes addressing the current inconsistent site opening times. That's a major problem. This is something that needs a very urgent, quick solution. Addressing inconsistent site opening times. We also understood the reason for this. Volunteers, they are unpaid, and they are inconsistent, so that affects our site opening times. So we'll have to see whether does the examiner provide any possible strategy to address staffing challenges. Now, in 11, I had brought up information outside pre-scene. Now, this is not in the pre-scene. I told you from the start, we should not bring information outside pre-scene. But let's say the examiner asks you for recommendations. This recommendation can be relevant to the information given in the pre-scene, or you can bring new recommendations, things that you can do newly. So see whether these 2 points can be of help or not. These are two opportunities. I would classify these recommendations as opportunities. These are information outside the pre-scene. Number one, we do not know whether do we have the potential for government grants or funding for heritage preservation. We identified a weakness, that is, we are having insufficient financial resources. So are we able to obtain government grants? That potential has to be checked, because protecting heritages is something that the government would not oppose. So we'll have to look at the feasibility of this. And we also have to see on the opportunity for partnering with travel agencies, with museums or influencers to drive engagement, get more members, get more visitors. We can have some integration going on, partnerships, going on, so that we will have a win-win situation. We can obtain their customers, visitors, and we can promote through them. So this is also an opportunity that is typically observed. You can have this in mind as well. So this is where, from what we had analyzed in our previous video, today we do a comprehensive SWOT, and finally also list out certain concerns. Now these concerns are not for you to estimate the exam question. The examiner specifically stated, do not estimate, do not trust that you can specifically identify the tasks given in the final exam. But these are some major information that are quite, visible, quite significant. Some of them might be tested in the exam, some of them might not be tested in the exam, but make sure you are ready with this key information. Right? With that comes the end of our part 2 in the analysis of pre-scene for the SBL 2025 March examination. I wish you all the best.